And just so everyone knows, we're live streaming. We have to get that set up early.
Okay, I'm here.
Vanessa, you look so serious.
Serious? Just waiting.
Just waiting, just waiting.
Just waiting.
I see everybody's catching on to their virtual backgrounds now.
Yes.
Always the trendsetter.
Oh, I'm checking it out.
Okay.
This is the West Ashley Greenway right here behind me. Look at that.
Okay.
Beautiful.
All right.
It's really nice.
Not bad.
I think that's down by
Two are in a competition.
Brady's.
Look at Jason. Look at Jason down there.
I'll jump
Right.
in. I'll run for you.
Where is he?
Oh, Jason. Okay. This is great, Jason.
Wow.
I'll close it now and leave everybody alone.
Where's Chief Reynolds when we need him?
That's right.
He's not
Park
supposed to be,
violation.
he's not supposed to be in that park. I decided to go with Lake Dotterer today. So.
Oh, Kevin. Oh,
Oh,
Kevin.
that's gorgeous.
There you
Wow.
This is getting to be strong competition.
I'm telling you.
I have got a lot more. I've got a lot more. I like the variety, you know.
Yes.
What's today, council member? What is that?
The Lebanese flag.
Flag?
That's the Lebanese flag.
Oh, sorry.
The,
Yeah.
the flag visual was flying over City Hall. I figured, I want some equal time.
There
Right,
it
Jason?
is.
Come on.
When is Lebanese Independence Day? You can have your shot at it.
Shannon's dog is on too. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Nice.
Nice. Can we just
Wow,
hear
what a
from the
handsome
dog
man.
instead of Shannon?
I can't.
Come on, Shannon. We must look at the dog than you.
I can't see it yet.
Councilmember Appel, you look like a ghost in prison garb.
Wow, that's actually the nicest thing anybody's ever said about me. I like that. I like that.
It's like- I have my stripes on, see, but you look like you've got your gray.
Come on.
And I think we're waiting on council members Waring and Griffin. I don't see them on the line.
Okie dokie. We'll
It's
give
not
them-
5:34 yet. You gotta give him 2 more minutes.
Give them another minute or two.
Hmm.
Whew. Well, that was a robust community development meeting. Lots of
yes.
good stuff
Awesome.
we've been working
Yes.
on for a while.
Yep.
Thank you, Chairman Mitchell. Good job.
Thank you.
I didn't put it on the agenda, but Councilmember Seekings, if okay with you, I'd like to call on you to give a little report on the CARTA meeting you had today.
Be happy to. Thank you.
Yeah. When we get the meeting started. Yeah. Everybody's getting CARES money but us.
That's the truth.
Be patient.
Be patient. We may get some.
Patient.
We're working on it. Okay, well,
Ryan Hicks is on our side, Mayor.
is that right? Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did.
You wrote a column about it.
He had a good article. That's right. All right, well, I think we'll go ahead and get started if that's okay with y'all. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll? I'd like to call this meeting, emergency meeting, April 30th to order.
Councilwoman Del Chapo.
Here.
Councilmember Shealy.
Here.
Councilmember Saccharin.
Here.
Councilmember Mitchell.
Here.
Councilmember Brady.
Present.
Councilmember Gregory,
Here.
Councilmember Waring,
Here.
Councilmember Seekings,
Here.
Councilmember Shade,
Present.
Councilmember Griffin, Councilmember Appel,
Here.
Councilwoman Jackson,
Here.
Mayor Tecklenburg,
Here. So,
Councilmember Griffin. Okay, I was giving him a second chance.
okay, I don't see him on board yet. He might join us in a minute. Councilmember Del Chapo, would you please lead us in a opening prayer?
Yes. Most merciful God, we come to you in our weakness. We come to you in our fear. We come to you with trust, for you alone are our hope. We place before you the disease present in our world. We turn to you in our time of need. Bring wisdom to doctors, give understanding to scientists, endow caregivers with compassion and generosity. Bring healing to those who are ill, protect those who are most at risk, give comfort to those who have lost a loved one, welcome those who have died into your eternal home. Stabilize our communities, unite us in our compassion, remove all fear from our hearts, fill us with confidence in your care. We trust in you. Amen.
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 Lovely.
Beautiful prayer. Thank you.
Very nice.
So we'll have an update on the city's response to COVID-19. And I'll just go right ahead and call on Shannon Scaff, our Emergency Management Director, to give us a report.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. As always, thank you for the opportunity to provide you a brief this evening. All objectives remain in effect with a specific interest in that sixth objective, assist citizens with housing instabilities to achieve stable housing prior to the onset of hurricane season while minimizing transmission risk of COVID-19. Just want to make note that a moratorium on rent and evictions ends tomorrow and may increase future need for stable non-congregate housing. So that need is there and may increase over the next several days. Internationally, there have been 3,255,454 COVID cases with 231,000 deaths. In the United States, 1,056,402 with 61,867 deaths as of 4, and that's according to Johns Hopkins. According to DHEC in the state of South Carolina, 4 p.m. today, there were 6,095 cases statewide and 244 confirmed deaths attributed to COVID-19. In the latest update from Dr. Richardson yesterday, DHEC is forecasting an increased number of cases across the state than expected through mid-May. Previous estimates showed about 6,953 cases by May 9th. However, current projections now show approximately 7,855 total cases are expected by that time, a difference or increase of 902 cases. New data also now shows the case fatality rate has increased from 3% to 3.3%, and that 1 in 5 deaths are attributed to patients or employees in long-term care facilities. In Charleston County, we had an increase of 3 over the last 24 hours. The latest DHEC report states Charleston County had a total of 444 cases and 7 confirmed deaths attributed to COVID-19. DHEC has not reported any change in Charleston County case fatality rate, still remains at 1.24. Berkeley County, there are now 180 cases and 10 confirmed deaths attributed to COVID-19. DHEC also has not reported any changes in their case fatality rate. They remain at 3.5. Charleston County Emergency Management Division partnered with Fetter Health has released dates and locations today for COVID-19 mobile screening and testing. These sites will offer walk-up and drive-through stations and are scheduled to be set up each day across Charleston County, Monday through Friday, May 4th through May 18th. The following 3 sites have been selected within the city. May 8th, they'll be at Magistrate Court on Morrison Drive. May 11th at St. James Presbyterian on Secessionville Road, and May 12th at the Johns Island Library on Maybank Highway. The site will be scheduled to operate from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Individuals experiencing cough, fever, and shortness of breath can request a screening at bettercovid19screening.org. That's bettercovid19screening.org, or call 1-800-365-7410. 1-800-365-7410. Kim Bailey, emergency manager for the Medical University, reports that serology testing in the Charleston area for healthcare providers and first responders began on Monday, April 27th. Serologic testing has the ability to detect antibodies that may indicate a past infection from COVID-19. However, it is important to note that there are limitations with serology testing and that antibodies may not be present in the early phases of an infection and should not be used as a sole method for diagnosis of a COVID-19 case. It is also not yet completely understood how long immunity may last once antibodies are created and to what degree of protection an individual may have from reinfection. In terms of keeping order in the city, Charleston Police Department responded to three calls for service regarding a large crowd or gathering in the last 48 hours. The police department notes that while overall daily call volume continues to average lower than normal, calls for traffic-related incidents have increased, and there continues to be a slight increase in assault call types. There is no significant increase in suicide or overdose incidents at this time. The fire department was dispatched or responded to 38 possible COVID-19 calls in the last 48 hours. Overall call volume there remains consistent with no significant changes. In terms of garbage and trash, on Wednesday, 70% of collection routes were completed. Work continued to finish those routes until 11 a.m. today. Any incomplete routes for Thursday are planned to be completed Friday morning. There are currently no issues with PPE for police or fire personnel. Logistics continues to crush it there, doing a great job under the leadership of Mike Tito. Citywide, city department B teams are on rotation this week with 1,324 employees accounted for in 15 of 15 departments reporting on Tuesday. 34% in the office, 14% working from home, 32% in the field, and the remaining 19% are on some type of leave. Citizen Services Desk received approximately 200 calls today that include topics such as new garbage can requests, bulk waste collection, and parking citation appeals. Charleston Area Convention and Visitors Bureau on Wednesday reported 26 hotels open in the city of Charleston and 53 in the Charleston area. That includes my report for this evening, pending your questions.
Great. Thank you, Shannon. Any questions for Shannon? Councilmember Pell.
Just had a quick comment. I was just looking at the newspaper right before I got on, and there's breaking news out of the South Carolina Supreme Court. The Chief Justice extended the eviction moratorium for another 2 weeks. So it's been extended to, I guess, May 14th or May 15th. So just a heads up about that.
Appreciate that update. Thank you, sir.
May 15th, I believe.
Hot off the press.
Another couple of updates, and Councilmember Gregory, you had asked on a couple of occasions about testing in our underserved communities. MUSC is going to engage in some direct testing in the Hollywood area. And in addition to that, Charleston County has a partner with Fetter Health Clinic, and they're going to offer for the next 2 weeks locations around the county. And I can send you all the list of all of those locations where Fetter will be conducting tests and offering tests, I think, to anyone who's has any indication that they feel like they might be have the virus. So there is more testing coming, so that's good. And the ban on evictions through May 15th, that's great. And I did want to share this expression. Dr. Cole has used it a couple of times in my conversations with him. He drew from a famous comment from former Speaker of the House, Tip O'Neill from Boston. Tip's famous quote is that all politics is local. And Dr. Cole now uses this expression, all infections are local. And I watch it very carefully, as I know you all do. Although I'm continue to be very concerned about the number of cases everywhere and in the state of South Carolina. Today, another 220 cases, but here in Charleston County, only 3 new cases. And that's been pretty indicative of our average of about 5 per day over the last 2 weeks or so, that at least locally, we've kept we had a big start at the very beginning, but we've kind of kept a lid on it. So in recognition of that, and the fact that folks need exercise and to get out and move around, and to get some more sunshine, might get you some extra vitamin D, which I read in the paper either this morning or yesterday is a very healthy thing. We are going to officially allow our parks to open, with the exception of Dimitri Park over on James Island, which of course has a beach, and we don't want to compete with the beaches until they open up over there. But here's the theme, and I think of this song from Ranky Tanky, you gotta move, you gotta move. So this is not to open up parks in order for people to have gatherings and to congregate, not even picnics, I'm sorry, you gotta move. But if you're running, walking, bicycling, moving around the park, starting this weekend, we will allow that and won't enforce otherwise. So I wanted to share that with council. I think it's an appropriate time to start doing that. Be honest with you, a lot of folks were out there, running through the park anyway, and enforcement maybe was an issue. So so there's that announcement, and I guess I do want to shift to a couple of good pieces of news, one from Councilmember Seekings and one from Councilmember Shealy that occurred today, and then we'll open it up again for any questions. Councilmember Seekings had his CARTA meeting there. He's got his bus there behind him now. Councilmember Seekings.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There you go. Appropriate background. We did today have our first CARTA board meeting since we've gone into isolation here, and it was well attended. So a few things that for everyone to know, we at CARTA have been operating for the last month or so on a Sunday schedule, but we are operating. Our ridership, we saw the numbers today, our ridership is down as would be expected. But interestingly, through the same period this year as compared to last year, while our ridership is down, we still have had about 185,000 rides on CARTA between January 1st and mid-April, which is pretty amazing. And if it breaks down by route, some are more utilized than others. The one route in the entire system that is not down in terms of its ridership is our James Island route. So Councilmember Jackson, more argument out there for some more increased service on James Island when we come back on the other side. The mayor had asked us about cleaning and sanitizing procedures and what we're doing for our drivers. We are very much ahead of the curve on cleaning and sanitizing procedures. They're going very well. We have put in almost all our buses, but still more to go. Driver protection devices. Our new buses that are on the way will also have those. And in terms of ramping back up, we, like many people, are on a wait and see basis. We will continue to service our customers as needed and return to full service somewhere down the road. CARTA did apply for and has received CARES Act money, $15 million, which is a very hefty and sizable amount for us against our annual budget, which is not even quite double that. So it is a really great opportunity for us during this time to get ourselves in a place that we have not been in a long time. And the question then became what about utilization of those monies? And for the first time in the probably history of CARTA, we're going to put some of that money aside for reserves, about $7 million. We've never had a reserve. And then we're going to use $8 million for capital expenditures. A few things I think you'll be interested in. We're going to use it to buy another, at least a minimum of 8 electric buses. And we're going to also use it to upfit and improve the hop lot, the new hop lot, which is up at Mount Pleasant Street, the parcel that's on the north end of the low line, which we're actually going through the TRC process now. We also will have $100,000 for public safety, and we're actually going to dedicate that to buying masks, and we're going to distribute masks off of our buses. We recognize that a number of the people that ride on the system are actually going to and from places where they're shopping and where they're going to have to be in social contact. So masks are going to be, I think, pretty soon required in almost every grocery store. So a $15 million asset coming into CARTA is something that is amazing. A couple things that are important for this council to know as we go forward and get into Ways and Means. This money, this CARES money, does not require a local match of any sort whatsoever. There's no time frame on it to spend it. So we expect over the course of the next year or two to really be able to improve our fleet, to update our fleet, get our fleet in a place where we went from the oldest fleet in America to now an updated modern fleet, and then look at expansion of service, which has been something that a number of you on this council and people in our community have asked about. So it was in the against the background of some difficult and challenging times, some really good news for transit in this community and in this region. For those who serve on our board, I want to thank the mayor, has been a very active member of our board. Thank you for that. Councilmember Lewis was participating today, and it was good to see him virtually and have him out there. So the news from CARTA is pretty good. Please let your constituents know we are operating. Please ask anybody who's asked you about that we're on a reduced schedule. If you have a mask, please wear it. Please be courteous to our drivers. They are in a really tough spot out there in the public every single day. And as I said, even though our ridership is down, we moved in the last 3 months 185,000 people and still are moving a good number of people on our buses. So Mr. Mayor, did I miss anything that you might have wanted to add in there? I think that's pretty comprehensive.
That is, and I considered it very good news. I'd be curious, Katie McCain could help you figure out when you get those 7 buses in addition to the other electric buses on order, what the differential is in our carbon footprint just from CARTA. I bet it will be substantial.
It will be substantial. And so just so everyone knows, just to round this out, the total number of electric buses we will then have in the pipeline, either already delivered and on the road or coming to us and financed and paid for, is 23. And one of the things that the way CARTA operates is we actually pay our service provider to operate our buses and to maintain them. And one of the things that is very clear is our maintenance costs are going to go down precipitously. So not only does this $50 million put us in a very good financial position, it also is going to allow us to renegotiate our hourly rate with our provider and save us even more money. So lots of good news. And yeah, the carbon footprint, will definitely get Katie on the job and see if we can get some numbers out of that.
Great. All right. Thank you for that report. Next up, I'd like to call on.
I see a hand up.
Mr.
Councilmember
Mayor. Thank you. I'm just curious, how much does one of those electric buses cost, Councilman Seegan?
On the road, fully equipped with a lease rather than a purchase of the battery pack, about $650,000. The first 3 that we bought from Proterra, which is a South Carolina-based company, as you know. We have 6 on order, which we did through an RFP, which we got a little cheaper. So yeah, 6 to 650, and the batteries are really expensive. We're actually leasing them on a few of the buses, hoping the technology will get better.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
That's one of them, by the way, council member, right behind me. That's one of our
I see it.
electric buses. So once we get back, by the way, to up and running, Mr. Mayor, we'll get one of these down to City Hall and give everybody a ride. They're pretty cool.
That's great. Terrific.
Yeah.
So another little piece of good news, fortune came our way. Councilmember Shealy, our representative on our Sister Cities Committee with Doha, Qatar.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Tecklenburg. I appreciate it. We had some exciting news today. Some of you may remember that Nita Weiss, the CEO of Charleston Sister Cities, brought us an opportunity to have a sister city agreement last year with Doha. And last week we started hearing that Doha wanted to help the city of Charleston and Charleston County with our efforts to fight the spread of COVID-19. And today it was set up where Chairman Elliott Summy, who also serves on the delegation to Doha with me, had invited Mayor Tecklenburg, myself, and the ambassador from the U.S. ambassador, or the Qatari ambassador to the U.S. To be in a meeting today where the ambassador announced that he was going to give a check from Qatar to both the city of Charleston and Charleston County, totaling $100,000, but we will be receiving $50,000 of that. We actually have the check in the mail, and that's actually not in the mail. We have the check in hand, actually. Nita received that today, and this is going to go to whatever we need to use it for to stop the spread of COVID-19 in the Charleston area, whether that be protective equipment, medical supplies, any kind of support we need. But it was just a very kind and generous offer that he gave to us today from Qatar. And I'm just happy to announce it. I've been kind of wanting to announce that for the last few days, but until we got the check in hand and got the official word, we didn't want to go too far, but exciting news for us, and just an example of what sister cities can do for us in this special relationship that we have with Doha. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Shealy. All right, so next on the agenda, we have an emergency ordinance.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I just want to let you know, I've been having some technical difficulties, but I am on the call, Councilmember.
Oh, great, great. Thank you, Councilmember Griffin. We will count you.
Yes, sir.
Present. Okay, so next we have an emergency ordinance to allow the staff to approve just a few applications that are in process right now. And they're kind of being held up by two things. One being the fact that we haven't reopened our meetings yet. We're still working on the best way to have the public input for DRB and BAR and those other meetings. So they're being held up that. And they have a timeline that they're up against because the state hasn't changed the timeline for them to qualify for their tax credits for affordable housing. So we want to be able to allow these very few developments on a very short-term basis. I think this would only be run along with our other emergency ordinances through the middle of May, and promote worthy affordable housing projects for being able to move forward in our city.
Move for approval.
We got a motion to approve, and Chip McQueenie is on the line if anybody has any specific questions regarding the ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion.
I'll second it. Oh.
Okay, we got a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it unanimously. Thank you so much. That will allow those to move on through, and they're badly needed, as you know, as we deal with affordable housing. And I think I mentioned before we started our meeting, we had a very robust community development meeting. 3 different matters that staff has really worked hard on. We've been talking about them for a while, and we'll talk some more about them at our next regular city council meeting on May 12th. So that's actually the end of our agenda. We'll get together again next week on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, if that's okay with y'all. Councilmember Shade, I see your hand up, and Saccharin.
Well, you kind of answered my question, Mayor. So we're planning on next week for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
At this point, yes, sir.
Okay.
We'll see how the week goes, whether we stick with Friday or not. We'll decide that later in the week, if that's okay. Councilmember Saccharin?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick question about the parks announcement. Is it all right if we share that with our constituents this evening, or do you want us to hold off?
No, it's fine. I mean, it'll be effective tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
But still, you know, no facilities will be open, no gymnasiums, no programs. You know, you gotta move. That's the easiest way to communicate what's allowed. You gotta move. You gotta keep moving. Councilmember Waring.
Let's see, Mr. Mayor, I still want to thank staff for being on point with these, in particular, 2 affordable housing developments. That could have easily slipped, and those tax credits somehow have been lost. And if that had occurred, I mean, we would have, Ms. Shaw Johnson can tell you, but I know one of them has 70-something units of affordable housing, and I forget what this second development has.
40-some.
40 some odd. So, you know, we're talking in excess of 100 and possibly 20 units of affordable housing that may not have occurred because the margins to develop affordable housing are just so thin. So it's a good catch on staff behalf, and we'll get a chance to talk about it in detail later. Thank you.
That's right.
Mr. Mayor?
All right. Yes, sir. Councilmember Gregory.
The opening of the parks, does that mean that the basketball courts open as well?
You gotta move, and you can't.
That's moving. They're running up and down the court.
I don't know, Peter. I've seen you play basketball.
Baseball may be a different story, Mr. Mayor. They usually stand there and wait for something to happen, but basketball, they're moving pretty fast.
It's a contact sport, though.
Yeah.
You can play sports and social distance. Oh, we're not opening those, and we're not opening playgrounds either. So shared equipment, you know, we're still not doing shared equipment. Councilmember Del Chapo.
Tennis courts then are still closed?
If they use their own balls, I'm told, we're gonna play tennis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Singles, right?
Let's try to keep it to families and folks who are willing to quarantine together.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Speaking of equipment, as you know, Hampton Park has equipment in it. Are we suggesting that because equipment is there, it shouldn't be used?
That's correct.
Okay. I think the public will need to know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll make we'll make a press announcement tomorrow, but
I think that'll be helpful.
No shared equipment, no shared and no playground equipment as well.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all very much. Another action-packed week, lots going on, and appreciate everybody's help and collaboration. And it was good to have some good news today. We just hope that the CARES Act is going to remember cities under 500,000 next time to help us with our budget as well. God bless y'all, and we'll see you this.
Are we?
Chapo.
Yes, Mayor. Are we doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week?
Correct. Yes, ma'am. That's the plan right now.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Have a great weekend, everybody. God bless.
We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
Take care.